In this video, we are going to be answering the question, who has been the most valuable player in La Liga this season? And here are the rules of engagement for everybody watching. My co-host and I have submitted a top 20 ranked list in order. I received the list. It has been aggregated into one. We're going to react to 5 rankings at a time. Guys, follow along in the comments. And if you like videos about La Liga, make sure you hit subscribe because I'm pretty sure we're the only English-speaking La Liga show here on YouTube. Timestamps down below. Let's get into it here, y'all. First, some of the players who received votes, maybe even multiple votes, but not enough to crack the top 20. So these are the honorable mentions for La Liga MVP. Here we go. Some interesting selections here. I just want to start the conversation with Athletic Club's Nico Williams being unranked outside of the top 20. Do you guys think that's fair? Are we being harsh to him? What's the takeaway?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair too.
Go ahead, guys.
Interesting. I had him at 19 actually.
He's barely starting for Bilbao right now. You know what I mean? Like they just drew to Espanyol today, and he didn't start. So I don't know, man. It's a weird season for Nico. It's a weird season. Yeah, not a bad player by any means, just a weird.
No. I think we've definitely talked about this before in terms of his contribution versus when you look at his name on the stat sheet, right before the game starts, you're like, okay, that's it's Nico Williams. Like for everything that he did last summer, it carries weight. I can see why you guys didn't rank him just in terms of what he's done this season. Maybe by the end of the season, he'll crack the top 20. But for me, in my opinion, every time I've watched him play, there's impact. Something catches my eye. And maybe the eye test is I'm just being subjective about it. But to me, how can he not be in the top 20? I don't know. Jack, what do you think?
Nico Williams is the only player who received 2 votes and did not make it. I had him at 20. And Andre, you had him at 19. Mm-hmm. So he was actually not the first out. The first out is Budimir, who we will get to in a second. But number 22 was Nico Williams. And I thought it was so fascinating after we recorded that Ballon d'Or video in which he was, 12th overall or 15th overall in the rankings? I mean, and now here we are sitting as 4 guys who I think all rate Nico Williams, and he's not in the top 20 for La Liga MVP this season. And I think it's been kind of that type of campaign. I mean, Michael, very quickly, you probably watch Bilbao more than the rest of us. I try to watch as many as possible, but do you think that's fair?
Yeah. It's 100% fair. I think there was so much hype for Nico after the summer at the Euros. Scored in the final, was very impactful with Spain, had a great campaign last season, in my opinion, for Athletic Club when they won the Copa del Rey. But this season, I mean, yeah, you can look at the goals and assists, but when you actually watch him play, his end product, I mean, he beats a man, but he can't find a player from his own team. All he does is just cross it, and he doesn't find anybody every single time. Now, that could be the case that Athletic Club don't really have a striker because they're trying Sunset to go reset that striker position. But I think Nico, his end product, the guy, you could say top 20 talent-wise, 100% in La Liga, easily. But his output and his actual play this season don't warrant it whatsoever. I think he can improve, and he's been dealing with an injury the last couple of weeks, so that's why he hasn't been really starting. But we'll see for the rest of this season. Maybe he can crack the top 20, but I can't lie. Watching him this season is very frustrating. If you're any team in Europe, I think Athletic Club will be like, hey, we'll take 70 million for him. And the Athletic Club will laugh about it.
Ooh, the laugh about it. Damn, okay, we'll tune back in 6 months.
If you're going to pay 70 million, what do you expect from a player?
High impact right away.
Exactly. And you're not going to get that right away with Nico. You're going to see flashes of brilliance. I think Nico needs another season where he can prove he can get 10 goals and 7 assists. I think he needs to prove that. He hasn't done that so far in his career. The guy is unbelievably talented. He's got all the talent in the world to be an excellent player, but he just needs to show it consistently. Like today against Espanyol, I mean, he beat the man 3 times, and he couldn't find a cross anytime. So it's a frustrating player, but talent-wise, he's amazing.
That's a good shout, actually. I want to see him carry Bilbao for a season before he gets that move to a big club. That's actually like a really good prerequisite for him, if you will, right? Because I think it's the reason why Barcelona ultimately don't go in for him. I think that like Flick probably wants someone a little more proof. That's why the Rafael Leao rumors are swirling and Isak and everybody else. I think they really wanted Nico because of just having someone to get excited about energy-wise with the fans coming into the season in Flick's first year. But now that we've seen what Flick ball looks like, I think they're going to look at what he's done this season and maybe ask him to do a little bit more. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens to Nico.
The only thing that I was going to say is, do you think people compare him to his brother, who has actually carried Bilbao in the past and, has proven himself time and time again? And I think that's like this shadow looming over him,
Yeah.
That was my next point. How am I the only person that had Iñaki Williams top 20? I think y'all being disrespectful.
To be fair, I don't like Iñaki, so I'm gonna say right there, he haunts Barcelona. I'll never pick Iñaki for any top 20.
4 goals, 7
It is what it is,
assists,
bro. I'll never pick that man. I'll never.
Dude,
do that.
he's top 5 in the league in assists, and yeah, I feel like he's a bit of a meme sometimes because he'll have like a moment of brilliance and then he'll just turn into a donkey and have a crucial error. But I think of Athletic Club stars this season. If I'm gonna point to one that has name recognition and say he's the most consistent, I think it's Iñaki, more so than Sunset. I'll be honest. I think he's been more consistent than Sunset. I think Sunset has had a couple
that's
games.
debatable. That's debatable.
Bro, I don't know that. I'm just saying, bro, that hat trick he had recently is it's blinding you guys. You saw that. You saw how it
Bilbao
impacted his
looks
GA. You're not
different
seeing
when
the
Sunset
forest for the
plays.
trees.
Exactly.
When
They
Sunset
look
plays,
much
like,
different with
they just
Sunset.
feel more fluid. I don't know what it is.
They don't beat a single good team without Iñaki Williams having a game. They don't. That's
probably true. That's probably true. I don't doubt that. I'm just saying, like, we can't underestimate the importance of Sunset in that team. Like, watching Bilbao play without him, they feel like they're just missing a glue in the middle of the field to kind of make things go. And not even just in the middle of the field, the trailing runs behind Iñaki were never really there without him. I don't know, man. Sunset to me is kind of pretty damn important to Bilbao.
Iñaki has been the third best player for Athletic Club this season, but just doesn't get enough into the top 20, in my opinion.
Where are they in the table, Michael, right now? Could you?
Well, they're fourth.
Okay, so the third best player on the fourth team got one vote from me.
You got to praise. You got to praise other players. That's what I got to say. How Budimir doesn't even get into the top 20 is ridiculous to me.
Bro, I debated it. Michael, I swear, we talked about Budimir in the midway point of the season too. A lot. I did. He's had a lot of penalty kick goals. It's the only reason I let that factor in too much. He's a pen merchant.
He's a pen merchant, y'all.
Bro, but still, I mean, it's 5 of the
13.
13 goals still is still pretty damn impressive, bro.
Yeah.
For Osasuna
Michael,
striker.
top 10 Budimir? What?
I'm just saying, bro.
He's the fourth highest goal scorer in La Liga.
If we're gonna glaze
I'm not going to pick him in the top 20 is
assists,
crazy.
If we're gonna glaze Iñaki over assists, you got to give Budimir his flowers over goals, bro.
Assists are harder than pens. What do you mean?
He's got 5. He got 8 legitimate goals from open play.
And imagine if Bilbao actually had a 9. How many more assists would Iñaki have? Maybe if Nico was actually pulling his weight from the Williams brothers,
bro,
maybe he'd have even more GA.
Supposed to be that? Isn't he supposed to be the 9? Like, isn't that what his job is supposed to be with that team?
He plays outside.
Now, right? But wasn't like that what he was supposed to be? He couldn't
crack the code at the striker position. That's why.
He's playing everywhere in the top 3. He can't play centrally. He plays left. He plays right.
I mean, fair.
I'm not hating for that.
So basically, we're not having Budimir in the top 20 because he's a pen merchant. Is that it?
I just think goals
cannot
be the only thing you look
at. That factored into my thinking. He would have been there for me a little bit. I debated it hard. I'm not going to lie. I debated it hard.
Do you guys know who the next highest goal scorer is for Osasuna?
Oh, Jesus.
Don't tell me he's out of Gosa with 3 or something.
Yeah,
Toro has 3. So without Budimir, these guys would be relegation fighters.
Relegation, probably, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you could say it's pen merchant. I get it. The dude is 33 years old and still scoring for Osasuna. So I think without him, that's why I factor. What do you contribute to the team? And Budimir is essential. Yes, it's pens. I get it. But he still scored 8 goals. You still got to score your penalties. You know, some players around the world can't score pens like, well, Mbappe against Athletic Club, for example, and Salah sometimes with Liverpool. So you got to score the pens. He's done it. True. He's contributed to Osasuna. They're having a decent season. I think he deserves to be top 20. Maybe 9th is a bit ridiculous, but heck, fourth highest goal scorer in La Liga, you got to put him in there.
Bro, just say it. Budimir is clear of Iñaki. Just say it. Just say it, bro. It is what it is.
He's
absolutely clear. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not going to say that.
Just say it. 13 of the 29 goals Osasuna has scored have come from Budimir. When Iñaki has that kind of impact,
by the way.
Yeah, when Iñaki has that kind of impact, we'll talk about it. 100%.
I mean, I again, point to me when Athletic Club have a great win this season and Iñaki has either not played or not shown up. By the way, going back to Athletic Club, Valverde, Mr. Rotation Man, Guess who's the one guy that barely gets rotated? Iñaki Williams. Durability. Availability is a skill. Come on, man. Y'all.
They're going to breed strikers in that Basque region. I don't know what's happening, bro. I don't know what's happening.
I had Budimir 22. There's one more person that you guys are going to get mad at me for later that also did not crack the top 20. Budimir was right there. Great season. I just feel like he's kind of like that Muriqui figure for Mallorca when he had like 12 goals last year or 2 years ago. It's like, yes, you're scoring a lot of goals for Mallorca, but like, look at the goals. Look at how he is as a player. Everything outside of just putting the ball in the back of the net. We can give flowers, but I can't go top 20 is how I feel about that.
The Budimir and Sunset slander is crazy. Both of those guys are top 5 in scoring, but Iñaki's supposed to be better. That's wild. It's wild.
Well, again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Spoiler alert, I did have Sunset ranked. He's in my top 20, okay?
Oh, there we go. Oh,
like what?
I love it.
Yes,
Why can't I had both of them.
No,
I had 3 Basque players in here, both Williams brothers and Sunset, maybe somebody else. Again, don't want to get ahead of myself here, but anyways, I don't know. I feel like all of them deserve to be in there. Can we very briefly speak on Takefusa Kubo? I was the only voted 17. I'm not going to die on that hill, but why did you guys not put him in?
Sociedad have been mid. I think that's mainly when I look at, obviously we can't look at one specific factor. Like you can't look at goals and assists. You can look at, position of the table, whatever it is. I just think overall for that caliber of a player, he should have more of an impact. Speaking of players that need to carry the team on his back, I don't think he's done enough for me to crack the top 20. I don't know how Jose and Michael feel about it, but
I mean,
he's there. He's just
he's there. We all know how good Kubo is. This is not an indictment of him as a player whatsoever. Same thing with Nico Williams, right? We kind of want to see more. You could probably have a carbon copy sort of argument for Kubo the way we had it for Nico. I'm not saying that we need to see him carry Sociedad. In fact, I almost would say the opposite. I'm almost ready for him to get his flowers at a big club because I personally feel like I've seen enough of Kubo to know what he can do. I feel like there are more than a few big clubs, not just in La Liga, but around Europe who would benefit from Kubo tremendously. So I don't know, bro. Personally, I feel like Sociedad don't deserve him, but he's not having a great season on top of that. So I don't know. I've been screaming for him to get more love at Sociedad, but at this point, I don't know if there's any one true attacking superstar on that team. They're just pretty.
Jose, you had Aramburu over Kubo. You had Aramburu as your 20th and final pick.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going value to their team, I love Aramburu. I can't say he's more valuable than Takefusa Kubo, who's basically first in like almost every offensive category for Sociedad. And I think he's top 10 in La Liga in chances created and dribbles. So it's not his fault that Oscarson is the 9 and whoever else they're trying to throw up top is, I don't know. I feel like I don't hate Aramburu 20. I'm just a little surprised I was the only one. I expected somebody to go 19 or 20 for Kubo. But I didn't see it. Michael, you didn't go either player. In fact, I don't think you had a Sociedad player at all.
You think I'm putting Reinforced Cafe FC into the top 20? You crazy, bro. You're tripping.
I thought you were going to go hipster and throw a Garrett in there.
No, I'm not going to put a Garrett there. I mean, you could probably give a shout to Zubamendi, but to be honest, what I've seen from Sociedad this season doesn't warrant anything. Like they have obviously the talented players, but they just haven't played to that level that they should be. And I think Kubo is an example of that. I think Kubo has shown bright moments, but again, not consistent enough. Whereas other players on my list have been much more consistent. Kubo is a flashy player. Love the guy. I think he's an unbelievable talent, and he'll probably move away from Sociedad this season, but he's just not been top 20 MVP for me.
Facts. And Aramburu, bro, he's arguably what, like top 5 right back in La Liga? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, bro. To me, I guess
the position is dead, bro.
Fine. Yeah, I mean, say what you want, right? But no matter what, like in a team that is extremely mid all the way through, there's maybe 2 or 3 players that shine in that Sociedad team. He's definitely one of them. So again, as a former right back myself, I'll give his flowers. I think Aramburu has been very, very
there
good.
It is. There it is.
Yes, sir.
I was also a former right
Aramburu over Iñaki Williams, 1,000%.
No, not a
He made it in my top 20, bro. 1,000%.
Sociedad are crying for Iñaki to switch sides, play left wing, bro. They would start cooking. Any other picks that we want to talk about briefly here? Sandro Ramirez, I thought that one, I respect it. Dimitrovic got in here as well. Miguel Gutierrez, Andre, you went a little high at 14. I mean, I love him, but Damn, 14.
MVP for Girona, maybe, but like top 20 MVP race is kind of crazy.
Maybe not 14, but I think he deserves a shout. He's the only like shining star in Girona, dude. Like, come on.
Well, if that's
We've
the
talked
case,
about him, too.
Dimitrovic should have made it over him. I mean, Dimitrovic is the only reason Leganes are doing anything this season. For being fucking honest,
Correct.
bro. Like,
For
him
me,
and Oblak for me should be in there.
The one that I'm shocked that none of you picked is my boy Alex Ramiro, unless somebody else did too. But I had Ramiro at 20 just because, I mean, again, we talked about Sociedad being mid, but we can't ignore the most clean sheets in the season. Like, are you, if it was Oblak, you'd have him in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the equivalence factor is not there, in my opinion. Yeah, so he deserved a shout.
Yeah. How many clinches does he have?
I can't.
One more than Oblak, right?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, they're close.
The thing is, this game's it's a game of moments, man. And I feel like with Oblak specifically, right, why he's the highest keeper in my list is like it's not just the number of clean sheets; it's the moments against their biggest competition where he's had very crucial saves. I mean, again, just those moments where you feel like he against Barcelona alone, where he might have just won them that game, 1000%, right? And it leads to Sorloth scoring at the end. Ramiro, I think again, 7 clean sheets, whatever it's going to be against some of the bottom parts of this table, most likely. I would just bet with Sociedad because they're one of the most mid teams in La Liga. So again, it's just like that context is super important for me. But it's not a bad show.
No, it's not a bad show. I probably would have Dimitrovic too. In fact, he was also in my kind of 21 to 25 range. And then if you want to go like, I like what's his name, Battaglia from Rayo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Of like the eye test, like the degree of difficulty of saves that I've seen from goalkeepers, he would be up there. And then Alex Ramiro, I'd probably go third because I do think it's important for Sociedad, but I also think they play fossil football and he's not facing the same degree of difficulty as like Dimitrovic. I mean, that guy has to save Leganes every single game or they will lose.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy, by the way.
Anyways. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and actually get into some people who cracked the top 20. At 20, Rodrigo. 19, Lo Celso. 18, Sanset. Julian Alvarez. And Pau Cubarsí at number 16. Jose, you went high on Rodrigo, man. Number 8 was not ranked by Michael or myself. Break that down for me, please.
Bro, I think when you look at Rodrigo, in my opinion, honestly, bro, I hope he's the one to leave Real Madrid. I really do. Of all the wingers, the storylines of Vinny versus Rodrigo or anybody else who might exit, I hope it's Rodrigo. Because to me, he is the most complete winger on that team, in my opinion. I think when I watch him play, Vinny's the superstar, 1000%. Rodrigo does a lot of the work Vinny won't do. He's more consistent than Mbappe, in my opinion, with his total performances. I think everyone gets their flowers on Madrid besides that player. He's the one player I would take 1000% right now, Rodrigo, 100%. I think he needs to be, I don't know, man. Much of this is the eye test for me when I watch Real Madrid play. Valverde gets his flowers, Jude, Mbappe, Vinny. Very rarely to me is it Rodrigo. And I think he is consistently putting up the most complete performances as an attacker on that team, especially in those moments where Madrid slips. Right, I feel like he's the standout player on that side, and Andre can maybe disagree with me if he thinks differently with how many superstars they have on that side. But yeah, bro, I rate Rodrigo heavily. I would take him right now in a heartbeat, and I think this is more of me rating Rodrigo probably than what he's been in terms of caliber, in terms of value for Real Madrid. But nonetheless, man, in that moment where Madrid closed the 10-point gap, I thought he was having very consistent performances in La Liga when Barcelona was flying in October, November, and they kind of started to slip their way down the table. To me, especially when Vinny wasn't around, either through suspension or injury, Rodrigo seemed to pick up the pieces even when Mbappe wasn't firing. So for me, up to this point, he deserves his flowers 100%. That's coming from a Barcelona fan.
So one thing I'll add is, number one, I do agree with consistency because every time I watch Rodrigo play, I'm like, if he's in the attacking third, he's going to do something. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to make something happen. And I feel like every time I talk to fans of other teams or even neutrals who watch Real Madrid, they're like, dude, Rodrigo just stands out. Mm-hmm. Maybe because of his consistency, maybe because of his work rate that Jose alluded to compared to the other two that play up front. The one thing that I will say, though, and I've been kind of having this debate for a few number of years now, is optics matter at a club that big. And I think Rodrigo doesn't have the je ne sais quoi that like Jude, Kylian, Vinny, even Luka Modric at one point had. Benzema, if you go back a little bit further, those guys had a social media platform. They were, seen outside of what happens on the football field. And I feel like Rodrigo is very quiet. He's very to himself. Yeah, he had a couple of moments where he maybe, went out in the press and talked about the Mbappe saga, or when he talked about like problems in the locker room, and kind of some bombs went off after the whole, disagreements with Ancelotti. But outside of that, if you really think about it, he's a very consistent player in terms of not being in the media. So I think that has a lot to play with how people view Rodrigo in this team. They're kind of like, okay, he's kind of not problematic. He doesn't necessarily stand out, but also he's consistent enough to be in the starting 11. So to me, that has a lot to do with why people don't rate him higher. It's because he's not as seen in the public eye, if that makes sense.
His stats are there too, by the way, right? He's top 15,
totally.
top 20 in GA. Like Rodrigo is there. Like he's putting up production. And again, I just think it's a situation where he doesn't get the limelight on that team with a bunch of superstars, like Andre said. That's what I think it is. When I actually watch him play as a hater, I am there to hate on Real Madrid every step of the way. He stands out as the most consistent player on that pitch.
He's the Ray Allen of the Boston Celtics big three.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic analogy.
Chris Bosh.
Or Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh is a good one too.
100%. Yeah, he doesn't have, you're right. He doesn't have a personal brand, really. Honestly, I don't know if I could tell you what his voice sounds like.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody, Rodrigo?
Nobody knows. Does he speak?
I don't know what he sounds like.
Does he even speak?
Do you guys know what he sounds like?
Does he only speak Portuguese? Nobody knows. The actual question that I want to make is Jack and Michael not ranked at all? Not in the top 20?
To be honest, I like Rodrigo a lot. I think you guys made valid points that he doesn't get the flowers he deserves. For me, I think he's much more impactful in the Champions League games than La Liga games. That's just for me,
fair.
right?
That's fair.
Now, if you want to put Champions League, okay, no, Rodrigo in La Liga terms is like top 10 because he always shows up in the Champions League. I just think sometimes in La Liga kind of goes quiet. Yes, he's got numbers, 6 goals and 5 assists. I love the player. I think he deserves to go somewhere else where he can really flourish and maybe be the main character of a team. I just think for this season, it just doesn't quite now. Maybe he can change at the end of the season. Doesn't get into the top 20.
Yeah, that's a good shot. All comps, he's definitely like top 10 for me, even. Right?
Yeah,
but he's tied with Iñaki for the. We just glazed Iñaki hard as shit, and they're
one guy plays for Real
GA,
Madrid. Bro. Jose, don't do that.
No. All I'm saying is, no. Look at him pound for pound, bro. Hey, in the biggest of moments, Rodrigo does step up. Iñaki does too. All I'm saying is, if you're gonna glaze one, have the same energy for the other. That's all I'm gonna say, bro.
Glaze, I have him 16th. You act like I put Iñaki second.
Hey, but it was disrespectful for us not to have him? Come on.
It was disrespectful for him to not receive a single other vote.
It's more disrespectful to not have Rodrigo in your top 20. It is more disrespectful to not have Rodrigo in your top 20. That's crazy.
And Iñaki Williams is top 3 cemented for Athletic Club. Rodrigo's probably 6 or 7 for Real Madrid. I think it's fair. I put Rodrigo in that awkward 21 to 25 range. Literally, the one bullet point I had for him is European competition. I do. I think if we're going aggregate, which maybe we should do that at the end, like, I don't know, Spanish League Player of the Year, hit subscribe, he probably would be in the top 25. But I don't know. If I look at the importance of him for their success in La Liga compared to other players, I couldn't do it. Just narrowly. Great season. Maybe not great. Good, very good season, but not enough for top 25.
I guess maybe it's got to be eye test impact, because if you look based off just the numbers, he's top 5 on Real Madrid. He's top 4 on Real Madrid easily, right? He's only behind Vinny, Mbappe, and Jude.
Do you say
Rodrigo.
numbers?
Just based on numbers alone, he is so. He's only behind those 3 front runners. Yeah, no, 100%.
He better be top 5.
And for someone who doesn't start because of sometimes of all the star power they have, he's still coming in and making an impact significantly. Right? He's top 20 in numbers alone across this entire league, bro. To act like he's not relevant on this team is blasphemy. It's egregious.
I didn't say relevant.
No, but that's the sentiment, right? Like,
panel, does that sound like irrelevant to you? 6th best player in Real Madrid, Mr. Irrelevant Rodrigo? I don't know. I feel like that's fair. Hey, drop a poll on the YouTube channel. We'll see. Where does Rodrigo rank in the most important players on Real Madrid? I mean, Andre, what do you think? You're the Real Madrid fan here.
He's definitely top 5, dude.
Top 5 where? No, give me a number. Don't give me range.
4. I'll give you 4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Wait. Is he more important than Courtois?
Dude, honestly,
hell no, he's not.
Dude,
no way.
If you had Lunin in there, he's proven himself already. Like,
brother.
come on.
Dios mío.
We're
What do you
gonna
mean?
act like we're insulting players when we're not, because these are all amazing.
I can't
players.
wait
They
for
start
Rodrigo to
Real
leave
Madrid.
Real Madrid for me to say I told you so to fucking everybody. It's gonna be great. I
And
can't
he's
wait.
gonna
What are you
tear the
telling me?
fuck up.
I can't wait, bro. I
I
can't
said
wait.
he's top
I can't
25.
wait.
Michael and I said that if you aggregate all competitions, he's top 20. What? I mean, you're acting like we're saying, give me Brian Zaragoza over Rodrigo. Nobody said that.
Receipts.
But come on, man. He's
We're
not
gonna
more
wait.
important than
Receipts.
Jude.
We're gonna wait. Receipts.
Okay.
We'll come back to this. Watch this space.
We'll
Watch
come
this
back.
space. We'll come back.
Okay,
To this.
all right. Next talking point here. Very quickly, Lo Celso, Andre, you had him pretty high. Michael, you had him as well. I'm a Betis hater. That's my entire argument. I just think Isco's way more important.
Well, when Isco was gone, you know who was carrying him? Who was carrying Betis?
That was
Lo
a valid
Celso.
argument.
So without Lo Celso,
Yeah.
relegation battle for them. I think that's more than enough case for Lo Celso. I think he's been. I mean, obviously after the injury, it hasn't been that great. But before that injury, bro, that guy was top 5
flying.
player.
Yeah,
he was flying. So I think you got to put some respect on Lo Celso. I think 19 is fair though, fair for him at least.
Sunset, Andre, not top 20.
Just
But I'm the hater. He's my 19,
Hey,
but
you're
I'm
19,
the Sunset hater.
he was in my like
on.
21 to 24 camp. It wasn't
Okay,
like
well, I mean,
you know.
the facts are the facts, Andre. He didn't crack top 20.
No,
you
not for me.
don't
I
rate
think
Sunset
again,
that much.
I'm gonna use your argument. Of the hat trick is like, oh my god, recency bias. That guy's fucking legit. That picture in front of
the haterade logic. I love it.
Just
I love
saying,
it.
Brother. Just saying.
Bro, he's top 5 in the league. I mean, like literally, Bilbao do not operate well without him. I've seen it multiple times. They need him right now. They don't have anybody that can do what he does in that team. Period.
No, and I will say though, thinking about it now, you know, the fact that Athletic Bilbao are 4th it deserves a shot. If Athletic Bilbao were like 10th or 11th, then I'd be like, okay, maybe I do have an argument here. But being 4th, a big part of it has been Sunset. So maybe he'll crack into my top 20 at the end of this. But 18 is a fair shot though. Like if we have him at 18, I think that's more than fair.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys this question because I was thinking about this when I was aggregating the list. What does Sunset do that is better than Jude Bellingham? Does he have any characteristic where we think he's superior to Bellingham in?
Dude, that's a great
any
question.
part of his game?
That's a good question.
Very similar styles of play.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, like sometimes it's instinctual, but Jude has it too. Like where you watch what's most impressive about Sunset when I watch him play is not like distribution or his ability to find people in the box. It literally is his awareness and his trailing runs. Like the way he just waits and he waits and he waits, and then before you know it, Berenguer is cutting inside, or maybe it's Nico, and he's just right where he fucking needs to be. And it's so annoying as a non-Bilbao fan because he just comes in and again, it looks lucky, but it's not. If you watch the entire build-up play, it's like instinctual. And Jude has that too. We saw it in his first season. This year we've seen a little bit less of it, but that's a really good question. Like
maybe you could say he has just slightly higher like footballing IQ. Whereas Bellingham has much more impactfulness on the game, but Sunset doesn't need to have 100 touches of the ball. He can just find that 1 or 2 touches around the box, goal or assist to Inaki. If he decides to finish on that day, who knows? But Sunset, I think overall, I think they're very similar players. That's a great question.
I do think I was going to say IQ because when you watch Jude Bellingham, it almost feels like he has to be on the score sheet at the end of the game, one way or another. Whether it's an assist,
he will force it,
creating a penalty, whatever. He's forcing it almost at times, right? Especially when we're down or we're tied, 1-1, 2-2 in the 90th. You can see Jude just like trying to go into the box and break things. Whereas Sunset will be floating by the top of the D. He won't do that extra crazy run to go defend. He'll maybe hover by the center, half circle, and then get the ball and then make shit happen. So for him, I think there's not that added pressure that Jude has, which allows him to be a slightly smarter player, in my opinion, just because he knows when to turn it on.
I think Sunset, for me, is the most underrated baller in Europe. Nobody else from Premier League, Serie A, Bundesliga talks about this guy. I think he's super underrated.
I'm surprised too, man. Especially with how much transfer hype the Prem gets. They're always just plucking players from every single league. Yeah. I'm just really surprised. Someone who has his numbers consistently and his age. He's 24, 25, something like that. I mean, bro, he's in his prime. Like he should be getting hype everywhere, and he doesn't. It's kind of crazy.
If Athletic Bilbao finish in Champions League spot, do you think that he's gone this summer?
No, he's not leaving.
Unfortunately, no.
I think they'll sell Nico.
Nico before him.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Much more likely. I have a stat here. Sunset has one less goal and assist than Jude Bellingham this season, but he's played 500 less minutes.
Yeah, he's been injured
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
You saw how bad they missed him when he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I don't know if he's the most underrated player in La Liga, but if you say underrated baller, to me, that means something different. And then I would agree. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like,
I know what you mean by that.
100%.
Okay. All right. Anything else we want to say about this? Should we talk about Julian? I think 17 is.
I thought it was a hot
maybe
take
little
for me
flattering.
not to have him, but it looks like I wasn't the only one. So that works for me.
No.
I think it's just another case where he's been really impactful in the Champions League. Like, obviously, the performance against Leverkusen stands out to me. And then, obviously, scoring against, I think it was Slovan Bratislava and Sparta Praha. I just think the beginning of the season, La Liga, really struggling and just hasn't been always consistent with his performances. But obviously, he can come up very clutch at the end of this season. So he could definitely go up to maybe top 10 by the end of this season if Atletico win the league.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's tough to separate the impact between Julian and Sorloth. And because of that, I was like, I guess I'll go Julian because he gets more minutes and is probably asked to do a little bit more than Sorloth. But honestly, I had a bit of buyer's remorse after I put the list together. I was like, I think I went a little high on Julian. Like, looking back, I probably should have put him like 17, 18, something like that. 7 goals, 2 assists. I think he's been way better in the Champions League. I mean, he's been our second best, if not best player in that competition, but it hasn't been that in La Liga. How mad are you guys that I did not rank Kubarsi?
I was gonna say, dude,
That's wild.
You've been a hater the whole show, so it lines up.
Hey, it's my brand.
I was gonna say on brand. Continue to be on brand.
Some things never change. No, man, it was tough for me. It was tough for me. I'll defend myself with this. I think he's been the second best center back in La Liga, but I don't think we've seen such good center back play in La Liga this season that 2 of them made the top 25 or top 20, which is crazy to say because I would have multiple CBs in my top 20 for the Prem right now. But when I was looking at the list, I was like, nah, I can't.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but like I feel like yes, that is true. I agree with you. Now looking back at just the whole list of CBs, I think have played pretty well. But it's top heavy. While it's not very deep, it's top heavy. Like I think Vivian and Kubarsi have been like easily just the 2 best center backs in La Liga from my perspective, and the quality is very high. Inigo's up there too from my perspective, but he injuries in and out, things like that towards the end. Yeah. I think, like I said, it's kind of top heavy. It's not very deep. So I agree with you in part. But Kubarsi has still been very, very high quality center back this season so far.
I think Kubarsi is so pivotal to how they build up the play as well. I think it's not just defensively, but just his overall play has just been excellent. I mean, the guy is 18 years old, 17 years old. It's ridiculous what he's doing. What is he going to be when he's like 22, 23? Bro, he's going to be the best top 5 player in the world if he continues to play like this. So Kubarsi at his age is unbelievable.
Yeah, look, I knew I was going to catch some heat for that. Like I said, I think he's the second best CB. Like I have nothing negative to say about Kubarsi, but when I think of like impact for Barcelona, maybe going back to the Rodrigo thing, is he a top 4 player for Barcelona? If you guys want to say that, that's fine. I'm not sure I would quite have him there. I just don't think we've seen great CB play. And Jose, maybe you can chime in, because if I'm not mistaken, when Araujo came back, it was him and Inigo starting. Yeah. And then Araujo got hurt, or Inigo got hurt, and then Kubarsi went back in, which I thought was a little weird. I didn't know if that was like a one-off or Hansi Flick used him as a backup. I didn't know.
I think it's one of those things where it's a couple of things. One, I think Araujo is honestly mentally fragile, and I'll say that shit with my chest right now. I think he's one of the most mentally fragile players on this Barcelona team. I don't think he sticks with the team long term. I think it's partly that, and partly that Kubarsi is the youngest, the least experienced center back. So when Araujo came back, and I guess and Flick wanted to appease him a little bit, it's like, who do you take off? And I really feel, and again, maybe it's a hot take, I feel Inigo and Kubarsi have both been very good this season. I think Inigo's distribution has been fantastic, especially over the top. I think he's been more successful with long balls over the top than most center backs this season. And I think it's allowed us to be vertical the way Flick wants us to play. So I think Inigo's been very good. You probably could have taken your pick. I think Flick was throwing a bone to Araujo, but you could see, dude, Eric Garcia has somehow outshone Araujo when he's come in a number of ways. Like, let that shit sink in. Eric Garcia has found a way to outshine Araujo in that back line. I think Cubarsí has now probably cemented his spot back. I think Inigo will probably go back and forth with Araujo moving forward. I don't expect there to be a lot more instances where we see Cubarsí starting on the bench. I feel like he threw Araujo a bone. We learned from that a little bit, and now Cubarsí has sort of cemented his spot.
Well, he's certainly made of glass. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to 11 through 15 here. So at number 15, Dani Vivian, Rodrigo de Paul, 14, Ayosi Perez, 13, Luca Bacchio, 12, and Vinicius Jr. outside the top 10 at 11 overall. The fans on TikTok will be furious. I'll start with 15 and Vivian. I think he's the best CB in La Liga, and I don't think it's close. And so he is my one central defender who cracked the top 15. And we all had him. Well, actually, I mean, Andre, bro, stop Basque hate, dude. You don't have any of these guys ranked.
Yeah, you're going to be banned from the Basque region after this.
I was going to say, maybe because
how are we supposed to stream the Europa League final?
maybe because of Carlos Vela and my allegiance to Real Sociedad somehow.
It's fair. It's fair.
No, I had him at 22. He was right there. I don't know. When I looked at impact from every other player, he was right there. And we've talked about it too in the past when we did the best 11 or whatever it was. So fair shout to my boy Vivian, but he's right there.
Bigger howler in the comments. Me not ranking Cubarsí or Andre not having.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot. That's a great question.
Let's be honest. Without Dani Vivian, I mean, Athletic Club would probably concede 50 goals because Unai Simon is a donkey.
Dude, bro, I was dying.
I always see Michael hate on Unai Simon. Every time I get on Twitter, like on Saturday,
come on,
Sunday,
bro.
Brothers and Unai Simon come
check his bank account.
Weekly message, yeah.
It's a weekly message. So without Dani Vivian trying to defend all the shots onto Unai Simon, Athletic Club would not be top 4. Guaranteed, because Unai Simon is just terrible. So shout out to Dani Vivian carrying the whole defense. But also Yuri and all the defenders have done well.
Yeah, barring Unai Simon, I'm not going to drag him like Michael will, but I will say that Dani Vivian is a fantastic defender. I actually wonder how long he'll be with Bilbao, just because, like, I'm expecting somebody has to notice. Somebody has to notice. Like, there's no way a center back this good is just going to remain, unless he's just diehard loyal to his hometown club, right, to the Basque region. And sure, and we've seen many stick around for so long with Sociedad. Like, it makes sense. So maybe it's some of that. But man, this guy should be getting way more flowers than he gets as far as rankings amongst the best center backs in Europe.
Okay. At number 14, Rodrigo de Paul.
Top 5.
I had him at number 5.
Top 5.
I had him at number 5. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. Firstly, it's important to say he is my favorite player. Second, I think a point that was raised earlier by Andre, which I thought was brilliant, about Rodrigo and not having the same brand and gravitas as some of the other players on Real Madrid. I feel like De Paul truly is Pedri without a marketing agency. Like, if you look at the impact, if you want to talk about numbers, which we've referenced several times, he is better or just as good than Pedri in most passing statistics. Now, Pedri is a far better dribbler than De Paul. He's just, especially in tight spaces, De Paul just ain't got it like that. He's usually going to bring the ball back and recycle. Pedri's going to take you off the dribble. So I will give dribbling and ball control to Pedri any day of the week. I think De Paul's passing is, it's God level right now. And I think ever since maybe late September, when he kind of got solidified in the 11, because let's remember, Simeone didn't start him a lot in the beginning of the season. He is the best midfielder in the second place team in La Liga, and he is top 95th percentile in Europe amongst midfielders in progressive passes, chances created, forward passes. I just think he doesn't get a lot of love because he came from where was he? Hellas Verona or something? Udinese, thank you. And now he's playing for Atleti, and everybody thinks we play fossil football, and he's the unsung hero of the Argentine national team. Everybody, oh, McAllister, oh, Enzo. It's because those guys play in the Prem. I promise you, if the ball was at Liverpool instead of McAllister, the twerking on the timeline would be I mean, it would be diabolically bad, right? So y'all can clown me. I think he's been a top player, arguably Atleti's most valuable. I put him second this season. I love him at number 5. I knew I was going to go higher than y'all, but
all I'm going to say
too unranked.
Jose, here's the thing. All I'm going to say, and Jose knows this, just how you had him as your favorite player, he's probably my least favorite player in La Liga. And there's a lot to do with him being Argentinian. I will not lie. But that guy, I cannot, like, if I saw him at a bus station, I would probably fucking kick him in the back or something, or trip him. That guy I can't.
Rodrigo, I will be unbiased with him. I think he's top 20. I don't know if he's top 10 around all players, but that's why I had him where I had him. But I do think that Rodrigo de Paul, he is having a very, very strong season. If you just watch him play what Atleti plays, right? For all the reasons Jack said, but I think on top of it too, he kind of epitomizes now what Atletico Madrid have become in recent years under Simeone. I really think that he stands for a lot with the fan base. And so I think if we're going to talk about the best players from Atleti, and he's not even mentioned as the top 2 or 3, it's pretty blasphemous from my perspective. Like you mentioned Griezmann, you mentioned anybody else, or Oblak, you got to mention DePaul. I think those 3 are kind of the 3 that I probably had in my top 20 list.
I love DePaul. I've loved him since Udinese. Do I say he's always been the best midfielder for Atletico this season? No. I think you can agree to that as well, Jack, that until probably December, you would say Barrios was the best midfielder for Atleti. So who has since fallen off. And then obviously Rodrigo de Paul and those performances, I obviously away to Barcelona in the second half, I thought de Paul was amazing. I just don't think he's been top 20. Top 25? I'll give it to you. Not quite top 20 for me. But I love the player. I think he really... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say same chances created as Jude Bellingham in 400 less minutes.
Damn. That's pretty good.
Michael's like, still.
It's like, I hold firm.
Still.
I got caught. Hands up.
I said, damn, that is
was great, bro. That was great. I love that.
I love DePaul, so I can't hate. But not top. I mean, top 5 is ridiculous, though, bro. Are you smoking the DePaul strain? Because that's the case then. Top 5 is
maybe
ridiculous.
I'm smoking that Buenos Aires pack right now, but
100% you were.
It's not ridiculous. I think he's a top 10 player in La Liga this season. He's been one of the best midfielders. Like he has to be. I'll put it like this: you can't have Julian Alvarez, in my opinion, ranked higher than the ball. I can promise you, he has not been nearly as impactful in La Liga. I love Julian. It's not a discussion for me. It's getting to the point in several games this season. We're chasing a lead, as we often do. Who do we look to bail us out? It's the ball. We're trying to get him on the ball
and
so that he can find something.
Yeah.
Well, he's usually looking for Sorloth. So. But yes, he's the spear tip. But somebody's got to get him the ball. Yeah, man. I knew I was going to go bullish from DePaul. I love the pick at 5. I knew I was going to get some smoke for that, though. Let's move on.
Comments, let us know. Comments, let us know, please.
Please.
Let us know. Ayosi Perez getting 13th despite playing, I have 17 games written down, is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And how many goals?
10.
Is he top 10 right now? He's still top 10?
I think he's top 10, yeah.
It has to be, yeah.
It's got to be.
And it's kind of crazy that, like, of all the attacking talent, at least at the start of the season that Villarreal had, that he's not that it's crazy that he's the one, right? But like even going through injuries, kind of battling back, still find a way to be the guy over there, dude. I kind of feel for Villarreal a little bit. They've gone through just whether it's shambolic misses at the beginning of the season, right, through Barry or anybody else, to like key injuries happening, right, to certain players. Like who's the youngster, the winger? Yes, Ilias. Bro, I obviously being a Barcelona fan, him being a former Barcelona Academy product, love that kid. But they've gone through just a number of things, number of adversity, and he still finds a way to turn up, man. So I like Ayosi Perez. And what was the price tag? Was it 3 or 4 million?
No,
4.5, I think.
Yeah, it was cheap.
It wasn't more than 5 though.
Yeah. What a deal! What a deal!
It's insane. The ROI is astonishing.
That's why I have him really high, because of the ROI. Like he's basically outperformed that ROI and gotten you returns like after half the games that he's played. That's pretty ridiculous.
I'm surprised Jack has him as low as he does, to be honest.
Just for the games played, that was it.
Okay, fair enough. I thought I had him kind of low. I was like 14 might be kind of low to some people, but it's not an indictment of him. I thought he's been pretty damn good all season. There's just a lot of good talent in this league.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing negative to say about Ayoze. I think he's bailed Villarreal out in a couple games. I think his shooting has dipped a little bit because he was scoring like every other shot at the beginning of the season. That has since cooled off. And now I think he's around like 25% conversion now. But I mean, dude, he's a beast. Might not be the last Villarreal player we see. Luka effing Bacchio, 12th overall, despite Sevilla being completely dead. And I will say, there was not another Sevilla player who was even considered for half a second to be top 20. But Luka Bacchio, I got him just outside the top 10 at 11. Dude's carrying this team. Mikey, you got him 10.
Of course. Are you kidding me? There is nobody else of Sevilla who are doing the numbers that Luka Bacchio is doing. So if they don't have him, it's the same thing as Betis. They would have been in a relegation battle. And that is confirmed because he is, what has he now got? 10 goals. Are you kidding me? On that team that can't create anything. He's basically having to create his own shots every single game, like the game against Atletico Madrid away from home. I thought Luka Bacchio was great in that game, and yet they still lost because their defense is ass cheeks. Luka Bacchio, man. I hope he stays in La Liga, but I fear he's going to leave this summer. I feel like the Napoli is going to get him, or maybe even Borussia Dortmund. They'll go for him because he is such a good player.
Did he score again this weekend?
They played today. I didn't think so. Let me check. He might have, though, because
he has 10 goals.
It is Valladolid. He has 10 goals.
Oh, I had 9
scored. Yep, he scored today. Yep, sorry.
Yeah, against Valladolid. Yeah, he did.
Mother of God. Can I just ask a question? Does Vinicius get 10 goals at this point in the season for Sevilla?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
don't know. I don't know.
Y'all said that too quick.
I don't know.
Come on.
15, maybe not. But
I don't know.
Come on, dude.
Guys, I
don't know, bro.
As the
guy,
think about the cast around Vinny at Real Madrid and think about what he has to, what Luka Bacchio has to do with that Sevilla, bro. We just talked about it. Michael just said most of that team is fucking ass cheeks, and Luka Bacchio is still finding a way to get it done in double digits, bro. I don't know.
Okay, guys. How many goals then is Luka Bacchio getting at Real Madrid?
Bro, honestly, the way he's looking right now, I mean,
so I think
he might bench Vinny. No shit. No bullshit. He might bench Vinny, bro.
Insane.
No bullshit.
Jose, come on.
No bullshit. And that's the guy who rated Luka Bacchio 18th in his fucking list.
Oh my god.
He got 12 goals right now.
Michael left, dude. Michael's gone.
He got 12.
And so is Vinny. He's probably on his way to Saudi by now, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
That's
Rodrigo
insane.
over Vinny.
No, they're gonna have Vinny left, Luka Bacchio right. Vinny would still be on his 8 goals, but Luka Bacchio would be on 12. That's what I think.
I can't wait to see Vinny being the impact player off the bench.
I cannot wait to see his comments.
Yes, go baby.
Oh my god.
Is this a disappointing season for Vinicius, seeing as we have him ranked 11th and he was declared as the biggest Ballon d'Or robbery of all time by many fans just a couple months ago?
Yes.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
8 goals, 5 assists, 18 games played. You think that's below par?
Yes, dude. For somebody who's Ballon d'Or, and I was like shouting from, the heavens that like robbery, whatever. I was part of that camp. I was like, okay, he's going to have a bounce back season to be like, screw you guys. I'm a
revenge arc. Yeah,
revenge arc. And he kind of did it in a like microcosm in a small way against City with like the whole tifo that they had and cry your hearts out, whatever. And, he was player of the game. I thought that was going to be his season. Right. So yeah, I think it's very disappointing that he hasn't. Granted, the whole Mbappe thing, whatever, we can go on, and we've talked about that enough. But I do think outside of the top 10 right now makes sense. Now, at the end of the season, who knows, right? And again, we have to be very careful with not, if Madrid beat City and they advance and, they continue to do well in Champions League, I don't want that to taint the La Liga season that he's having right now because he's just not been at his level, at that standard that he already set for himself.
Is he a Ballon d'Or candidate this year?
No.
Not
right now. Not right now. No.
Definitely.
Hey, I'm just asking the questions.
If we win the triple and he's like, the treble and he's like has an insane back end of the season, maybe. But right now, no.
For how bad Mbappe was to start the year, he's bounced back significantly harder than Vinny. Mm-hmm. And I will still say I'm still waiting to see some flashes from Mbappe that I was kind of seeing. We'll talk about him. But I think with Vinny, by now, I was just kind of expecting it, and we're still waiting. Yeah. We're still waiting for him to really have that crazy breakout game in La Liga. you know, even against the lower level sides, right? The hat trick against like an Alaves or a Valladolid, somewhere around there, to just like stamp, like Andre said, the revenge arc for this season. But it hasn't gotten there. And I don't know if he's distracted. I don't know if the rumors are swirling too, right? He's going to end up in Saudi or anywhere else. I don't know. Like we'll find out. This summer will be very, very telling. But I don't think he can, in February, there's no way he redeems himself to the point of being in contention for the Ballon d'Or. I don't think.
Not this year.
I will say, though, since the start of February, I think he's been unbelievable. I think he's been fantastic in almost every game. Even the game yesterday, just a bit unfortunate with some of the decision-making and some of the chances missed by Mbappe. But again, it's a similar thing to Rodrigo. Vinny in the Champions League has been fantastic. I think he scored a hat-trick against Dortmund, scored against Milan, scored 2 against Salzburg, even though, I mean, that's a pub team, and then was great against Man City in the second half. So the La Liga, beginning of the season, he got some goals, got assists, then he got that injury, went a little bit quiet. Performances really dipped. But I think now, February to May, I think he could jump into the top 5 because his performances really are showing those Ballon d'Or performances that he was supposed to win last season, but he didn't. But yeah, I think it's been a down year for Vinny, but he can still bounce back. It's not the end of the season yet.
Yeah, I think this list is going to look pretty different when we do a part 2 at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So again, hit subscribe for that. Let's crack into the top 10. Jan Oblak, Fede Valverde, Alex Baena, Jude Bellingham, and Pedri. Number 6 through 10 here. Pretty consistent. I was pretty happy as an Atleti fan. 2 top 10 shouts for Oblak. I love it. I'm not going to yell at you guys for that at all. I just think he hasn't made some insane world-class saves like I've seen in years prior, but I had him at 13th. He was ranked by everybody, by far the most votes of any goalkeeper. I think that's totally fine. Fede, Andre, 16. I was a little surprised by that because he got, 3 top 10 votes? Could you break that down? Why he didn't crack even top 15 for you?
Wow, the Madrid fan.
I think the only reason why you guys probably rate him this high, not the only reason, but a big reason why people have rated him this high this season is because of his versatility and the ability to play right back. I think if you take a look at the performances that he's had when he's played in his natural position, which at this point, who knows what his natural position, but further down, or up the field towards the midfield or even as a winger, I think he's been okay, but I don't think he's had that like insane season. Yes, he's had those outside of the box goals. He has impact, and of course he carries the captain's bracelet because of however many injuries we have sometimes. He's Uruguayan. I don't know. He's got that what do they call it? Colmillo. Yeah, the garra charrua. And I love him. He's one of my favorite players at Real Madrid. I'm not gonna lie, but I do think that if we had a decent right back, he may not have this big of an impact of the season because every time he plays right back, he's solid, right? But does that make him a top 10 player in La Liga? I don't know. That's my only.
He's also being compared to Lucas
caveat.
Vazquez, where
correct. It's easy.
I mean,
you guys would start over him. That right there.
Yeah. There's a good chance if we had a tryout. Michael, I want to ask you something here. You're the only one of us that had Fede Valverde ranked above Jude Bellingham, albeit just one spot. Do you really think that Fede's having a better season than Jude?
Yeah, I think so. Compared to last season, where you could say that Bellingham was top 2 player for Madrid, I think Valverde has leapfrogged Bellingham overall in his performances. Because, Valverde is not going to get the goals. He's not going to get the assists. But he's the number 8 of this team. Now, obviously, he has to play right back because of all the injuries going on with Madrid. But just his impact on the game. If they didn't have him in the squad, would this Madrid team really function the way they are? Obviously, you can talk about, Carlo doesn't really have a style of play. He's so reliant on the individuals. But Fede is just the engine of this team. Without him, there is no engine. They are not going to the 5th gear. Without him, they'd probably go 2nd gear. With him, 7th gear, 8th gear. He's just so impactful overall. Okay, maybe he's not such an elegant player like a Pedri, right? You see Pedri, he's giving those wonderful passes over the top. That's not Valverde's game. Valverde's game is drive with the ball, give it to the best players, let them do their work. But for me, Valverde is just sensational. I think he's having a better season than Bellingham. From what I've seen with Madrid, I think he's much better.
Jose, do you agree? Who do you think's been more impactful for Real this year, Bellingham or Valverde?
You have to define impact, I think, a little bit, but I rate Bellingham higher slightly. However, I will say there's no one in that Real Madrid side who could do what Fede does, period. There's not a single player who can be that box-to-box and have the level of impact that he has. Not Camavinga, not Jude, definitely not Modric, right? Doesn't matter who they throw into that midfield. There's when Fetty's playing, I, as a Barcelona fan, and El Clasico or any other game that I'm watching that has high stakes, I'm looking for Valverde to have some kind of impact with the work rate that he's putting in, and just being everywhere, bro. If anybody rates Rodrigo De Paul, we just had a whole big segment on him. He's not as good of a passer as De Paul, but he has so many more of the intangibles that you want in a box-to-box midfield that the impact is almost the same. Like, I really feel like Fetty offers them a significant amount of value that you just can't replace right now with this Real Madrid side. And it does come down to the eye test. Like, if you look at stats, Jude beats him easily. Mbappe, it doesn't matter who you talk about in terms of impact based on numbers. A lot of Real Madrid players probably supersede him, but I really do feel like the eye test alone, there's so much that Fetty does. I rate him highly. I just don't think I don't think he's been as impactful in La Liga specifically as what I call the big three for Real Madrid, right? Jude, Vinny, Mbappe. Those guys are going to take the spotlight every single time. But it's a kind of crazy. He's almost underrated in this Madrid side.
Yeah.
Like in 2025, Fetty Valverde is an underrated player. Just kind of wild to me to hear that, but
very similar to Rodrigo, I would argue. Like, if he went to like any other team or even the Prem, he'd be the guy.
Dude,
at Real
imagine
Madrid,
Valverde in the Prem.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's got the engine, he's got the work rate, like
the physicality, like,
and he shoots from outside the box. Like, my boy would kill it out there.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between underrated and undervalued? Because I don't think he's underrated.
I don't know, and maybe I don't pay attention enough to the Madrid fan base. I feel like I guess maybe, yes, there is a difference, and maybe it's undervalued more so than underrated. I see some Real Madrid fans on the timeline. Granted, I'm not in those circles, right? So it may be louder than I think, but I see some talking about Valverde, but the glaze for the other big three is just insane. So it kind of just drowns everything else out. Maybe just my opinion.
I think the biggest talking point about Fede is like the meme where Ancelotti's like, I need you to play left back. And he's just like, yes. Then it's like, I need you to play center back. Yes. I need you to play goalkeeper. Yes. That's like what people think of when they think of Fede, is a positionless beast, essentially. And I think his numbers, 5 goals, 2 assists this season, are even more impressive when you think about he's playing deeper than he's had to before, because he's playing next to Jude and Dani Ceballos. Those are kind of more, I mean, Jude's more of the cam, obviously. Ceballos is more of like the box to box. I feel like Fede's been more of a 6 this season than he has in previous years, because he's not next to a Tchouaméni or a Camavinga. I think he's been great. I mean, I had him at 10. I think everybody putting him in the top 10 is totally fair. Alex Baena getting some love, 6 goals, 6 assists. Crazy stat that I just want to read. So Rafinha's first in La Liga in chances created. He's got 66. Alex Baena, second place, 65 chances created. And the third place is some dude from Getafe with 40. So that's how there's a 25.
That's so rich.
Yeah. I think it's Mila, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Like, basically the point is there's a massive gulf between Rafinha, who is a lot of people's favorite for Ballon d'Or this season, Alex Baena, who's literally right there for Villarreal, and then the rest of the division. So I'm very pleased that he was a top 10 inclusion. Any praise we want to speak on Baena before the next talking point here?
I just want to ask this question. Is this going to be his last season with Villarreal?
In my opinion, it has to be. I
don't want it to, but yeah.
I think he's ready.
It's going to be.
Yeah. There have been, I mean, like, and I don't know if that means he's moving into one of the Spanish giants or if he's going elsewhere in Europe, but I think he feels like he's outgrown his environment. Like, he's ready for a big jump. So,
you know what would be the perfect team for him? Arsenal.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be really interesting for sure.
Much.
The Spurs fan, I would have one more thing to cry about. It'd be amazing.
I already lost my boy Moises to Chelsea. I don't do this to me, Bayern.
Honestly, I want Bayern to stay in La Liga.
Like a neutral club. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would love for him to stay in La Liga, bro. I think like having him in La Liga again, it just shows like this league is pure cinema, bro. But box office through and through, and he's the epitome of it. I wonder how long he can keep this going into next season. We're not gonna talk about that today, but dude, hell of a fucking player, hell of a player.
How many spots do Villarreal drop in La Liga if they sell Baena this summer?
2.
I was gonna say between 3 and 4. So yeah. average it
They
out.
always find it. They always find some gem out there. Villarreal. They always do it. They have very good recruiting. So, but Alex Baena is a quality player, so that's going to be a lot to lose.
And keep in mind, 2 would drop them out of a European spot. So it's still a significant impact, even losing just 2 places.
Where do Sevilla finish if they somehow get Baena?
Bro, if they were to somehow get Alex
on the
Baena,
same team, wow.
Luka
What
Bacchio
did they
can
get
throw a
60
yacht
million from?
party after that signing.
I know, bro. Yeah, it's like you might have just kept Luka Bacchio there for another season. If
He's
they
gonna do the
were to
rain
get him,
dance,
bro,
it's insane.
yeah, I mean they're definitely I don't want to say like as far as European spot contention, but Sevilla might be back if they were to get Baena, 100%.
He would fix their first and second problem, which is chance creation and chance creation
Immediately. Yeah.
immediately. I mean, if Baena was a free agent, I would think he'd be one of the most sought after names in Europe
Easy.
this summer.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, 100%.
Like 100%. I mean, and this isn't even like is he a one season wonder type thing? Because last season, you could argue, at least numbers wise, he was even better.
Yeah.
He was even better statistically last season, and he's number 8 on our ranking this year with 6 and 6. It's insane. Like it honestly is. It kind of reminds me, if he leaves, of what would happen to Mallorca after they sold Egang in, and he was kind of like the only creative player, the only person with an ounce of tech on that team. And then, of course, he left to PSG. I think the difference is that Mallorca are naturally a defensive team, so they kind of weathered his departure a bit better. Are Villarreal going to start parking the bus if Baena leaves? I just
Not
don't
with
see it.
Barcelona.
I don't
No
think
way.
so.
No, I don't think so.
No. So I think it'd be a bigger loss than Mallorca losing Egan, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Fair shout.
But okay. Pretty crazy consistency. Jude Bellingham getting 3 7th-place votes. And then Jose, you put him top 5.
Yeah, he was actually so he was 4 and Pedri was 5 for me, just for clarity.
Oh, sorry. I just realized
you're good. You're good. I think Jude has been and this is again coming from a prime Jude hater. I think he's been slow start like most of Real Madrid, to be honest, this season. Much of that could be pressure due to bringing Mbappe in, but also just carrying over from all the success they had last season. It's going to be difficult, I think, when you introduce someone who is going to have that many eyes on them, that much pressure on them, and Mbappe. But I think he's found it a little bit. And I think we've also seen a side of Jude that after last season, where we saw how many goals did he score actually last season in total in La Liga?
18?
Something along those lines.
Close
It was
to 20,
almost 20. He was never going to replicate that from my perspective. So I wanted to see in his second La Liga year something different, right? I wanted to see more of the box-to-box Jude Bellingham that I saw at Dortmund. I wanted to see that same level of impact with the eye test, not just looking for his impact on the stat line. And I think that he's grown into that more. Part of that's due to the fact that, like, again, whether Mbappe was misfiring or Vinny was injured or suspended or whatever the case may be, Ancelotti's had to count on him significantly. And you can make arguments that Ancelotti has no system and he has to rely upon, as talented of a player as Jude is. But I really feel like the debate between him and Pedri, by the way, is a dumb, horrible fucking debate.
We're not doing that.
Terrible debate. Like zero ball knowledge debate. They're not the same type of player or same type of
apples to oranges. Apples to oranges.
Is not the same thing, right? So when I compared Pedri to Jude for this 4 and 5 spot that I have, it was legitimately like right now, while Pedri's doing God's work, in my opinion, for Barcelona, they have so many playmakers, right, on that team under Flick that I feel like in some scenarios with Real Madrid, Jude may be the only guy in that final third who has the firing boots or able to put that ball in. Just that X factor for Real Madrid in more than a few games. So for me, it might feel kind of high, but I felt like top 5 player for me this season.
Is it fair to say that Jude is asked to do more at Real Madrid than Pedri at Barcelona?
Yes.
Pedri's
like a very, very specific 8. Like, he's, in my opinion, he's like a closer comparison would be Odegaard from Arsenal, right? In the sense that his sole job is distribution, to carry the ball in the midfield. If he can push forward, great, but he's not meant to crash the box and score or have those trailing runs where he gets goal scoring opportunities. Those are always cherries on top. And that's why I think it's hilarious when they compare stat lines to Jude, these Twitter wars that go on, right, between comparing Pedri against Jude Bellingham. I think it's doing it like for like on goal contributions is a terrible argument because that's not what Pedri does. He is a ball carrier, a fantastic passer of the ball, very technically gifted, but his job is to be the conductor, right? It is not to have your crack at finishing off the opportunity. So I do think he has a very, very specific role, and Jude is asked to do more with Real Madrid.
Yeah. So we're saying the real Twitter war should be Sunset versus Jude Bellingham.
Jude.
Yes, that is a fantastic debate. That's a ball knowledge debate. 1,000%
ball knowledge debate. 100%.
The day I see that on Twitter, oh man, glorious scenes.
We know we've had an impact.
I'm never deleting this app.
We know we've had an impact then.
Let's go viral, boys.
Like,
We have
Liga have a
positively
rise.
influenced the culture if we see Sunset versus Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, not even bullshitting. That is infinitely a better debate than Pedri versus Jude.
Yeah, I feel like you should be comparing Pedri to De Paul, like Enzo Fernandez, like those types of players. The Jude thing makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Barella, yeah, it's like comparing Lewandowski to Vinny. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, one dude's a 9, the other's, yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's zero ball knowledge from that crowd. And of course, Pedri, who received 2 fourth place votes. Michael, you had him second. I think that's totally fair. We're starting to get into some really fine margins here. And then Andre 7th, perhaps Madrid bias, but I still think 7th is, damn, I put the same vote for you as well. My bad, dude. What did you actually rate him? You had Pedri. Oh, dude.
Oh, I had him outside. Yeah, I had him outside of my top 10.
He actually stayed.
I didn't even realize that. I did. The only reason why is because when you look at, we've talked about this throughout the entire episode. Tell me who's better than Pedri at Barcelona.
Rafinha.
Let's establish. Where did you put him in the top 20?
I think he was like 13 or some shit like that.
You had him at 13.
Yeah, I did. Outside of my top 10.
Damn, man.
I've seen
worse.
I'm biting my tongue. Go ahead. Just finish it.
No. I was answering my question. Rank the Barcelona players this season from 1 all the way down.
He's 4, but we're splitting hairs, and the only reason I say he's 4 is because the other 3 are just bagging so many fucking goals at this point that you really can't have them outside the top 3. Like, it doesn't make sense. Rafinha's having a Ballon d'Or season. Lamine Yamal might be the biggest individual talent in all of Europe, and Lewandowski is the Pichichi winner right now. So it's like you really can't put him anywhere else. But bro, 13.
So, that's fine. So you're saying that I want to see the top 5 now because I want to see. I really do because is it all Barcelona players? Like, what are we?
I mean, it'd be a fair shout if it was. There you go. Yeah. And to me, this is not even a bad shout. Like, this is not even a bad shout.
Okay, Michael, I see you with Jamal. I feel you on that one.
Yeah. I think Pedri has been better than Yamal. That's just my opinion. I think he's been fantastic.
This is the best season we've seen from Pedri. This is the best season we've seen from Pedri in quite some time. Like, last couple of seasons, he's been very injury ridden. So like the bar that he set for himself this season is massive. But yeah, we're splitting hairs. I think Lamine Yamal's been.
Guys, am I hating on Lewandowski?
I was gonna say, man,
a little bit. A little bit.
Not really. I respect it. I think Lewandowski, the argument for him is like he's doing and fulfilling his role exactly as Barcelona need. But can you say that like he's an irreplaceable player? No, but at the same time, dude's got 19 league goals.
Yeah, he's top goal scorer now.
Yeah,
I think at 11 is
it's what he's supposed to do, but that's also why it is technically hated because he's at 19, about to be 20 already. We're in February. Like, I don't know. Like it to me, is he the top scorer in Europe? Does anybody know that?
No,
I don't think so.
I think it's Harry Kane. I think it's Harry Kane. I think it's Harry Kane was first. Yeah,
the true GOAT is the top
and Salah.
There it is.
Like, would Harry Kane have 23 goals? Yes, but I think Lua at 5 is fair.
I think Lewandowski had a great start to the season, but since then, I think he's been falling off. I think he's missed a lot of criminal chances, and I'm talking about criminal chances that he would be sentenced at the Hague for because you're getting all the opportunities at Barcelona. You have Pedri, you have Rafinha, you have Lamine Yamal. Of course, you're going to get chances. So it's about finishing the chances. And look, he scored 3 goals. He scored hat-trick against hat-trick at the beginning of the season. I just think he's fallen off really badly. He should be, honestly, almost on 30 goals this season for the amount of chances he's had. But he's still top goal scorer, and maybe he can come up clutch at the end of the season, especially with Barcelona. He's got to perform against Atletico and Real Madrid. Even against the El Clasico at the Santiago Bernabeu, he should have had 4 goals in that game.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He was the reason it was not like a historically bad
Like 7-0.
result. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. His missed catalog, I agree. Like we talked about this, right? His missed catalog is fucking up there with like Kai Havertz, bro. Like it's a bad missed catalog. But like at the same time, we talk about it all the time with other players, right? You got to bag him. You just got to get your goals, and he's done what he's supposed to do. I'm not saying he hasn't been underwhelming because he has, but 11th seems like like 10 whole players above him.
Hey man, I saw Ferran Torres in the Copa del Rey goal at the striker position score a hat trick. So
Hey, El Tiburon, bro, I'm ready to see that more consistently, right? I'm ready to see that more consistently.
Okay, so if you're questioning that, then you're really having questions about Lewandowski. If he should be in the
I've had them. I've had the question about him.
He's been vocal about it.
Yeah. I just still think, what was the narrative last season, right? The narrative last season was that he was completely washed, that he wasn't ever going to be at his height ever again. And yet here here we are, right? So yes, he has been underwhelming in some aspects, but by the same measuring stick, he has exceeded expectations at the same time.
Can I draw a comparison here to Haaland and Man City? Is there not a little bit of that here where it's like the volume of chances and what he's being asked to do is very specific and he's doing it well? But you wouldn't look at Haaland and say, oh, that guy's a better footballer than Omar Marmoush. You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say, oh, he's a better footballer than Odegaard or Cole Palmer. But the dude's got 25 effing goals. You know what I'm saying? Well, they became fans of the sport 2 weeks ago, so let's have some mercy on them.
Fair enough.
I think it's a little bit of that with Lua. He's not doing bicycle kicks from outside the box, but he's got 19 goals. So because of his miss catalog, which I'm glad we brought up, I couldn't put him top 5, but I don't know. It's like criticizing Steph Curry or something for like getting 12 free throws a night. It's like, well, if he missed the free throws, he'd be dragging his ass. If he wasn't on 19 goals, you'd be saying he's a fraud and bring in the Tiburon, right? But he is on 20 goals, and it is February, and he could finish on 30. So you can't not have him top 10. I mean, 11 is right there. It is what it is. It's one spot. But you wouldn't say he's this irreplaceable figure on Barcelona, which I think is what they say about Haaland and City too. It's like, is he completely irreplaceable?
No.
He's more clinical than Lua, but
it's they're both of those things are mutually exclusive. They can both exist at the same time. Like
correct.
It's like the debate that everyone's having right now in terms of like Isak versus Haaland, who's the best striker in the Premier League. I'm like, bro, it's Isak. Like I don't know what you guys are smoking. Like he legitimately all the way around is just a significantly better footballer, in my opinion, than Erling Haaland. Similar, comparison, but I think City fans will still be up in arms about that. But no matter what, right, you have to have the goals. The last thing I'll say about this is you have to have the goals. You got to score them. As an Arsenal fan, also myself, what I would give to just have somebody who knows how to put the fucking ball in the back of the net. Like what I would give just to have somebody who put tap-ins in all day long. Like 19 goals, man, what I would give to have someone who can score 19 goals on that team. Doesn't matter how they go in. They just got to go in. So I think there's merit to both sides, but he's doing what he's supposed to be doing right now in one of the most potent offenses in Europe.
That is my entire reasoning for having Mbappe the lowest of all of us. I had him at 9. If you look at the numbers, we could talk impact, which is a little more intangible, right? He scored his first goal against the top 6 side last weekend, and we're in February. But if we look at the numbers exclusively, 2 goals fewer than Lewandowski, 30 more shots than Lewandowski. So I think because Lua's misses are like 0.8 XG, that people are like, oh, he's lost his clinicism. Like he ain't that. Dude, he's got more goals on 30 fewer shots. I just think Mbappe's shots, they might be more difficult. But based on that alone, you can't say Mbappe has been more clinical. I mean, literally, he is not more clinical. And so if he had the clinicism of Lewandowski, he'd probably be on, I don't know, 21 goals right now. 22 would be the top goal scorer of La Liga. So I think Mbappe's been important. He's been a top 10 player. I have him at 9. I don't think I'm being disrespectful, but I couldn't go top 5 for his performances against good teams, specifically in La Liga, and for the miss rate. It's kind of crazy. I mean, Jose Perez is putting him to shame right now.
This is the Pachichi race. Keep in mind. This will go down to the wire. This is the Pichichi race, Leva versus Mbappe. And so I think and even saying that at the beginning of the season, right? How crazy would that have been? Remember Mbappe getting 8 fucking offsides calls against Barcelona in the first Clasico? Like, I don't think we thought we'd be sitting here in February saying this is the Pichichi race, but it will be that. So I'm excited, bro, to see. I mean, yeah, he misses more, but Mbappe still gets some bangers, right? I mean, he had that crazy. How the hell did he hit that and it still go in?
I know, did he?
Yeah.
I think if he hits it clean, I think if he hits it clean, either Ederson saves it or it goes over the bar.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy just how he ended up hitting it. But in La Liga, he'll get goals like that too all along the way. I think right now the only thing missing from Mbappe is just him stepping up in the big matches, the big moments, like Jack said. It has to happen. Like, you scoring against the top 6 side for the first time in February is somewhat concerning in the first year, but the volume of goals is still there. So I don't know. I think if you're a Madrid fan, you should be excited for the trajectory he's on. He's just now got to start doing what, frankly, guys like Alexander Sorloth have been doing since he probably set foot for Atletico, scoring in the big moments, being clutch.
So you wouldn't say 9 is hating?
Yeah, it's difficult. Top 10, he's top 10. He's top 10. Anything after that, it's personal biases probably to an extent. I don't think it's hating because you have to factor in everything we've seen up to this point. And also it's not like Madrid is asking him to do what Barca's asking Lewandowski to do. It's not a similar comparison, right? If anything, he's been asked to do more. So no, I don't think it's hating. I think he should be doing more, and he's been a little bit underwhelming. And I think most fans would also say this is probably technically his worst season individually of his career so far. It's still a good season, but it's still probably, I mean, being at PSG as long as he was, at Monaco as well, it's probably his most underwhelming season so far.
Andre, you did have him at second above Lua and Yamal. Could you break that down for me?
I mean, number one, I knew you guys weren't going to have him top 5, so I had to bring the average.
Hey, I had him 5th.
Homie was literally buying credits, bro. He was buying credits.
Look at Jose.
Hey, you did the same with Dani Olmo, bro. Come on now.
Not this list. Signings and
say,
valuable player are very different things.
I was expecting Jose to go 1 Rafinha, 2 Yamal, 3 Lewandowski, 4 Pedri, 5 Dani Olmo, 6, like the whole starting 11. So
if I know we were buying credits, bro, I definitely would have done it.
I had to.
I am shocked Dani Olmo did not receive a vote.
We're top of the table.
So fearful of that before. Yeah. Before you guys sent it over.
True.
Or Endrick. Jesus. Oh my gosh.
Stop. We're not doing this.
Anyways, so you really think Mbappe, not that you're totally invalidating this, but better than Yamal and second best player in La Liga this season?
If we're talking value, right? This is an MVP race. We're not talking like impactful player. We're not talking like flashy player. We're not talking eye test player. I think Mbappe has finally stepped into this role that we were expecting as Madrid fans. Right. And I think the neutrals and definitely the haters are going to say, well, he should have done it from the beginning. It takes time to get adjusted. Like, I know it sounds like an excuse, but if he continues this form towards the end of the season, he's easy top 3 players. And by the way, we're top of the table. Like, that's the thing. It's like people forget. Like, Barcelona have had an amazing beginning of the season. They did go through a slump. So we can't take that away. Right. If Madrid were, not 4th, 5th outside of Europe, like that would be ring the alarms and Mbappe, what are you doing? Fraud alert. But right now he's actually performing. So today, mid-February, I do think he's the top 3 player in the Liga.
Does that say something about the value of Vinicius perhaps to Real Madrid, that he's having a forgettable season in La Liga? Not terrible, but certainly not something we're going to be talking about in the history books. And you guys are currently in first place with new signee Kylian Mbappe, who has some backroom issues with how he's being utilized, given Vinicius and Rodrigo also being on the team. Does that almost point to which player is more important going forward for Real Madrid, do you think?
So I'll use your question. Is Vinicius Jr. irreplaceable at Madrid? My answer is no. I don't know what you guys think, but I could see somebody else stepping in, or even Rodrigo having a bigger role per se. But if Vinny leaves, like, by the way, I kind of called it at the beginning of the season, if he goes to Saudi Arabia or wherever the fuck he goes and gets his bag, it's going to hurt, but I don't think it's going to be this glaring hole like when Ronaldo left, for example. I think he is a player that offers a lot, and of course he's, elite and in the conversation of Ballon d'Or last year, but I think he's one of those players that you can't find a replacement for, in my opinion.
I think they're better when they don't play together.
Yeah. We've
Real
seen
Madrid
it.
is 1,000%, in
Time
my
and time again.
opinion, better when they don't play together.
They almost get in the way of each other. when they
Yeah,
play
to an
together.
extent. And again,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a situation where one's trying to be more selfish than the other. I just think they don't know how to play with each other well and be as fluid of an offense and attack as they were when Vinny was the star of the show. And so somebody will leave. I firmly believe that. It could be Vinny, could be Rodrigo, right? Who knows? Maybe Vinny will have to adapt to that if he stays with Real Madrid. Maybe figure out a way to maybe come off the right, especially if Madrid ends up signing a striker. If they sign a striker, there is no world where, in my opinion, Mbappe, Vinny, and Rodrigo stay together, right? Like one of them's going to have to bounce,
No way.
and I think it's going to be Vinny.
So is this like trading Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis if you're Real Madrid here with Vinicius being Luka?
Well,
Nothing is that bad.
depends on who.
No,
Yeah, nothing will be that bad.
especially because Luka is or was the guy. And yeah, you can have an argument about Kyrie, but if you take Vinicius out, look at the locker room, dude. Like it's not like we're losing the guy anymore.
Mm.
Is Vinicius not the face of Real Madrid?
I think he was.
I think
until,
I think he is.
Kylian
For
is now.
yeah, I was gonna say I think he was until Kylian showed up.
I
Damn,
still
so we
think
just traded
I still think
LeBron
they're-
James for Kevin Durant.
Yes. That's
Mm.
probably a better one.
That's
I
a-
still think Vinny,
okay.
to me, I
Fair
still think
example.
Vinny is someone that people still consider to be the face of Real Madrid. So much so that we all saw the tifo that Andre mentioned earlier, right, with City and them taunting him a little bit. I think he's targeted by every fan base, right? It's not Mbappe they're coming after, it's Vinny.
But is that because
he's an easy target, right?
I
to
was
an
gonna say, is that
extent.
because he's the face of the club, or is that because he's easier to like?
I think it's both. I think he gets rattled way too easily, but I
Yeah.
think at the same time, like when I think of Real Madrid,
Mm.
I think of Vinicius Jr. That is legitimately who I think of. Like,
You
this
know
is
what's gonna
not
be
Mbappe's
interesting,
team yet. I think he's the heir apparent to the throne.
What's going to be really, really interesting to watch is if Vinicius leaves, somebody's the bad guy at Real Madrid all the time. It was Sergio Ramos for 15 years. Maybe Pepe was like
Even
the
Iker.
Yeah, maybe Iker as well. It's Vinicius right now. If he leaves, who becomes that figure? Is it Jude? Is it Mbappe? Can Mbappe handle that? Let's not discount the psychological weight of being the pantomime villain of La Liga. That Vinicius has to play with that on his back every freaking game. There's a chance that if he does depart to Saudi Arabia when he marries into the royal family and does whatever else he's going to do to get over there, let's not discount the possibility that could psychologically break somebody like an Mbappe or Jude Bellingham. It might be too much.
Yeah.
I don't think it will break Bellingham though. Bellingham
No.
seems like a very strong character.
I think he's built for it.
I think he's built for it too.
I think Vinny's kind of, I don't want to say he's soft. That's not the right word to use, but I think it rattles him a little bit more and gets under his skin. I think Jude embraces it. Like when he scores and he holds his arms out, I think he's ready for like all the
Give it to me.
come his
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Give it to me. It fuels me, right? Like I truly believe it'll be him.
And another thing too that we haven't talked about is national team, right? Like Jude's impact to the English national team and what he means to that team, right? Getting to the European Cup final, blah blah blah. Then when you look at the Brazilian national team and how shit they've been, is Vinicius the face of that team? When you have Rafinha, when you have Rodrigo, when you have all these other players, I don't think he is. So there's a difference right there. Jude's ready for that shit. You know what I mean? To Jose's point, he's almost like, bring it on, like give it to me, I'll take it. So
yeah,
if that pressure goes to Mbappe though, I could see him being a little bit more fragile. I don't think him breaking a little bit. I don't think it will, but I'm saying if
it on quite a bit, I don't think it'll get to him. I think he's still a world-class player. I think with Vinny, you can see when it gets to him. Like all those, like his catalog of failed rainbow flicks, like the amount of times he tries it when everyone's booing him so he could just make more of a show. You can tell it's like almost he's trying to pick up the pieces as he goes along, right? Whereas like Jude just keeps doing what he's been doing. If he's having a bad game, he'll keep trying. He doesn't go the extra mile to make up for lost ground. He just tries to stay relevant, be valuable, and then what probably ends up happening is at the end of the game, he has his moment, and he usually takes it, right? Scoring a goal, a crazy goal, whatever the case may be, an assist, something along those lines. So I don't know. I feel like we've seen enough of Jude to be like he's going to be the proper villain for this team in the best way possible when the time comes.
Very interesting conversations. I think we should flesh this out in full as a separate video. I want to skip ahead to number 1 because we had unanimous first place votes for Rafinha, which I was a little surprised about. Is he the front runner for Ballon d'Or this season, Rafinha?
No.
I would say yes.
Mo Salah?
I think Salah's number 1 for what he's done for Liverpool in both competitions. I think Rafinha is definitely second, though. I don't know who else you guys would put up there if you want to put Harry Kane or anybody else from maybe some Arsenal player or another Liverpool player. But for me, Rafinha and Salah, they're basically 1 and 2. Maybe it switches week by week, but Salah's impact for Liverpool is huge. It's immense because Rafinha, while he does get the goals and assists, Salah gets almost every single goal in the front line for Liverpool because Diaz misfiring, Gakpo goes a little bit quiet. Rafinha, while he's had an excellent season, he's still got Lewandowski. Lewandowski's got the Pichichi Award right now. Lamine is giving all the assists and the goals. But Rafinha, man, I will season, guys. You know what I was saying about him? He's from Easter Island.
Yeah.
I thought he was from East Island. I thought he was god-awful player. I thought, okay, get rid of Rafinha, bring in Nico Williams. Barcelona will do a lot better. He has shut up everybody. I have not seen sort of revenge season like this for a long time from any player. Every Barcelona fan, almost every fan would have said, sell his ass, go, take him straight to Saudi Arabia or Qatar, and we'll take a new player. Rafinha said, watch this. I mean, what he has been doing is unreal. The impact, the goals, it's just unbelievable performances from him. So, yeah, right now he is clearly number 1 in MVP. He is making a performance like Nikola Jokic in the NBA.
Fair shot. So if Liverpool and Barcelona both win the league, does it come down to who wins the Champions League then for you to have that deciding factor?
Yes.
I was just going to say that I think it literally will be decided in Europe. I think both teams have been equally impressive in Europe. I think that Salah, he's never out of a game, and that's kind of what's the beauty of Mo Salah is like that's why he's up here. Is he can have a terrible game and still just gets a moment and takes advantage of it almost every time like clockwork. Doesn't matter if Liverpool's playing well or not. Rafinha, I think, has had more impressive one-off performances on a consistent basis, but the total body of work hasn't been as consistent as Mo Salah, if that kind of makes sense. He's just had like in big moments, he shows up like every damn time. And now I feel like he's finding a part of his game under Flick that none of us knew he had. Like, who had him slotting in as a 10? I feel like now we're learning about his versatility in a way that I'm not sure. And again, Mo Salah's older, significantly older. So, he's going to be that striker winger player for the majority of his career, all of it, the rest of his career. We know what he brings to the table. But I feel like we're learning a lot about Rafinha that we didn't know. And he is the perfect versatile player in this Flick system. Could play 10, could play out wide, either wing. I bet if Flick wanted to put him at striker, he'd find a way to fucking make it work and bag goals like crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I like Rafinha as a total package a lot more. But right now, you just can't argue with what Mo Salah has done. I think he's been super impressive for Liverpool. So it probably will come down to Europe.
Better question.
Is there?
Go ahead. You want to go? Okay.
I was going to say that. Is there any way he loses this MVP for La Liga, Rafinha?
Injury, that's it.
Yeah.
His injury?
If Barca go through like one more slump the way they did at the back end of 2024, maybe, right? If they find a way to bottle the comeback, if you will, then and he doesn't contribute anything along the way, yeah, maybe then. But I just feel like that's unlikely. So yeah, it's either injury or Mbappe just has like a remontada unlike anything I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Or Griezmann.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the two that we see, number 3 or number 4, if one of those two teams win La Liga and they have a pretty big comebacks or bounce
can
back. Can
Yamal overcome Rafinha?
Oof. I don't know. Rafinha's a better finisher, man. He's a better finisher through and through.
A lot more.
Yeah, better question. Got that sauce, bro.
He does. He looks good when he plays. That's what I hate about these fucking arguments, bro. It's like the aesthetic, right? That he looks like Neymar when he fucking plays. But like at the same time, it's like his miss catalog is also impressive. He's 17 years old. I get that, bro. But his misses in the final third, sometimes I've been shocked.
In Europe too.
Yeah, I'm like,
what's some clear ones in Europe. So to follow up that question that I had earlier about both of them win their league and then Champions League, if Liverpool win the Prem, and if Barca win the Champions League only, so they don't win La Liga, right? So both teams have one title. Barca win Champions League, Liverpool win the Prem. Who ends up Ballon d'Or?
It depends on what Rafinha does in that final, or what he does in the knockout stages of the Champions League. If he doesn't have any impact, let's say he gets 1 goal, 1 assist, give it to Salah. Now, if Rafinha goes crazy, you got to give it to Rafinha. I'm sorry. Every time the Ballon d'Or, it has heavy weight on what you do in the Champions League for me.
For sure.
Every time. Pablo Nedved to obviously Shevchenko to Kaká, those guys always balled out in the Champions League. So if Rafinha balls out in the Champions League, they're going to prioritize it over a Premier League title.
Dude, if he scores in the Champions League final, that amount of energy that he'll show will hit like crack. I'll say that.
I'll go live. I'll go live on Instagram with my Leeds Rafinha jersey.
Bro, no, just
I was here first.
We might see the trot on his knees right across the whole field after the game. Like, I don't know. But like Rafinha, his energy is so electric, it's so contagious that, like, I'm telling you, bro, every Barca fan at home is just gonna be crying tears of joy. Like, I can imagine the celebration if you were to score in a moment like that. It would be insane.
I think if we look at Vinicius's argument, I felt like damn near 40% of that was how he played in the semifinals and the final of the UCL campaign, which was frustrating to me because while I recognized how good he was in those games, I was like, well, what about everything else? Like, especially La Liga. Like, it was a good La Liga campaign. It was very good. But again, it's like, I cannot fathom or I can't envision a world where Vinicius doesn't win. It's like, well, I can just look at league play. And so I feel like there's also kind of a bias in some cases towards Spain and La Liga players overall than Liverpool to begin with. So yeah, if Rafinha scores in the final, or even let's say he gets 2 assists, even Real Madrid win La Liga, Liverpool win the Prem, I still think Rafinha would get it by a couple of votes.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed that Van Dijk didn't win it in 2019 when Messi won it. Still pissed.
Yeah,
it's so hard, bro, for
ridiculous.
a defender. It's so hard.
Yeah, it is. But he should have won it that year. I'm still
it's
pissed.
so difficult. Yeah, he had
Messi was unreal as well. I think that was one of Messi's best ever seasons.
Yeah, it was. It was so difficult. But like, I think of like just like world-class seasons by a defender, and like, I mean, the only guy I could think of close to that level in my time watching the Prem would have been like Vidic when he won PFA Player of the Year. That's really it though. Like that season was so unreal for Van Dijk. But again, Messi's Messi. So,
but if Rafinha wins the Ballon d'Or, guys, this might be the craziest comeback I've ever seen from any player.
Has to be,
without a doubt.
Yeah, bro, it's going to be insane.
That,
I don't know. Who deserves more credit then? Is it Rafinha or Flick?
Oh, Flick. All day, every day.
all day. He like allowed him to reborn, to be reborn. Like
resurrected.
You gotta give him credit for that.
He resurrected.
This dude Andre just called him Jesus on the pod. That's crazy, bro.
Dude, I love Flick.
I mean, well,
it.
hold on. Let's compare Rafinha's comeback story to other ones that have happened in football recently. I'll use Christian Pulisic as an example. He left Chelsea, went to AC Milan. Everybody was like, yo, this is your last effing chance, bro. Or people like Landon Donovan were like, you should come back to MLS. I mean, that was literally where we were at. Now, that was a terrible thing to say, but he's gone to AC Milan, and he's become, from the responses I've seen to AC Milan videos I've made, a top 2 favorite amongst their fan base and somebody that they consider a borderline Serie A team of the season, if not in the team of the season. But nobody's saying Christian Pulisic Ballon d'Or, right? Nobody's saying he might be the best footballer in the world right now. Rafinha is doing that. I don't think this is a narrative that's getting spoken about enough because I can't think of another comeback story in the sport of football recently. Maybe something happened in the 90s. I don't know. Where it's been from Saudi Arabia to Ballon d'Or
in one season. It's not been like 3 seasons where he's gradually getting better and better. Bro, 1 season. We got to drug test him.
Yeah, facts, bro. Facts. You know what's great? Last little point that I thought about this like a couple weeks ago when I was thinking about Flick and why like guys like Rafinha and Fermin are thriving under this manager. And it almost leads me to believe that a traditional 10, like as much as I love the Dani Olmo signing as an example, right? But a traditional 10 under Flick may not be the route to go moving forward. Like when they think about who else could come in and do a job, I think this more energetic, high pressing, high energy type of player to sit behind that striker or in and around their wingers is going to be what they lean on more than anything else, just because of how Barcelona plays. So I don't know that part to me, like I thought about that a lot the other day. I was like, it's so weird that a traditional 10 probably wouldn't even work in Hansi Flick's system. It has to be somebody who's very high energy.
He was using Thomas Muller the exact same way. Now, would you say Thomas Muller is an elegant footballer? Hell no. That dude looks like a Sunday league footballer. But Thomas Muller worked exactly well in the Hansi Flick system. Now, I think Rafinha is a better footballer than Thomas Muller, because Thomas Muller, I mean, I love the guy, but come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, he's aged poorly too. To top it off, unfortunately,
he's
for Thomas
aged
Muller.
poorly.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just a really, and I wouldn't consider Thomas Muller a traditional 10. You know, it's just like he's. I don't even know what the fuck he actually plays. Is he a striker? Is he a shadow? I don't know, bro. He's just there.
It's Thomas Muller.
Yeah, he's around the box. He has his own position. But again, it's just interesting to see the differences and type of baller that would excel in an offense like this under Hansi Flick. It's interesting.
But I'll say this: if Atleti win the La Liga, Griezmann's my MVP.
It's a fair shout.
I could see
He's
it.
been so silky this season. 100%. Can't argue that.
I don't know. DePaul finishes with 10 assists.
Stop trying to make the ball happen, bro. Stop. We're not doing this.
Guy.
The man is
crack top
14th in our list, and I'm like,
Guy.
no, bro. It would be Griezmann. I know we didn't talk about him and Yamal that much, but it would be very interesting if Atleti won the league, because I think there's like our top 3, top 4 players. I think it's such a Simeone system thing. I don't think you could go wrong for like any of them. Like Griezmann's the best footballer we have, period. Not a discussion. But everybody's been playing their role so well. It would be tough, and I don't think I would be mad if any of them won it. But this is our top 20 list, and I got to say, overall, I feel like we did pretty solid.
Yeah.
Nice variety as well.
Yeah.
We kind of
Well,
cooked.
so in there kind of
not
pisses me
cook with
off.
this?
Like outside of that, bro, I'm good.
I mean,
Betis pisses me off in general, so I'm just like whatever. But I mean, you know, it is what it is, bro. I mean, there's so many like Barcelona rejects that have gone to Betis and just it doesn't make them better somehow. I have no idea, but here we are.
Crazy if the Rook is finished there too.
Bro, he might be. That's so insane. He might go back to Brazil.
No,
bro.
he is. He's
Yeah.
totally finished there. Yeah, Pellegrini, nah, he ain't playing again, which is wild. Sevilla player in here. Happy to see that. Let's see. We had 2 Basque players. Think that's pretty good. 5 Barca players, 5 Madrid players, 4 Atleti. I think that's fair. 2 Villarreal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have 4, yeah.
Any closing thoughts about this before we end the episode?
If Sevilla get European football, Luka Bacchio goes top 5 for me. I can't lie.
Top 5.
I cannot lie. Bro, that's a carry job if I've ever seen one.
Definitely starts.
Who are you pushing out?
To be honest, I'm pushing out Alex Baena. I love the guy. Because Luka Bacchio has done so much for Sevilla. I don't think we understand what he's working with. He's working with pure basura. They're just trash, all of them. Romero, I mean, Iheanacho had to go to that fucking championship because he's so awful. So Luka Bacchio, if he gets Sevilla Europa League football or Conference League football, my man, you go top 5.
That's not crazy.
I
can't argue with that.
As a hipster, I would like that personally. I'll say though, Vargas, that might be something. They might have something there. I think he's looked pretty solid to start Sevilla life. I mean, they finally got something on the other side.
I mean, he scored his debut. It's still pretty damn good. I mean, can't really ask for much else. So pretty quickly too after going down.
He scored his debut as well. Does he have 2 goals already?
Oh no, sorry, not the debut. I meant the Barcelona game. The first time I saw him line up for Sevilla.
Okay.
So I mean, and
like,
scored
oh my god,
right after going down too. So like, I mean, you know, I don't know about a hero for Sevilla just yet, but started off on the right foot.
There's only one hero for Sevilla.
Well, it's sad the bar is so fucking low. You know what I mean? You can score a goal and instantly be like a cult hero for Sevilla. That's how down bad they are.
The second best player on the team.
Which player do you guys think can have the biggest jump in this top 20 by the end of the season?
Depending on how it goes, bro, the one who should be aiming to make a pretty big jump is Julian. Bro, he had a massive price tag coming into the season. Like, we're now in that almost the home run stretch. You got to start now trying to have the remontada that Mbappe's had, right? And really contributing in a big way Atleti's right there for the title, bro. Like go for it. Like, you have to step up. Give Griezmann some more help.
Can I say Rodrigo?
I was gonna say Rodrigo. If he's 20th, I mean that's
Yeah.
kind of a no-brainer here.
The fucked up part is he probably he could get the goals and help Madrid, but he wouldn't get the flowers anyway.
Yeah.
Well, maybe on this show, but not
Elsewhere.
Yeah.
I agree.
Could be
I mean, the other guys, I don't know how Oblak goes up. Baena, Perez. It's going to be really hard for those guys to move higher in the list. Rodrigo, I mean, I don't know. Vinicius,
Dude, Sunset.
another
maybe.
injury could happen.
Yeah, Sunset maybe.
Yeah,
By
So,
us, he should
again-
be. Maybe not by the broader public, but by us, he definitely should be, because I think he's still very, very, even in this list, kind of underrated. I forgot where exactly I had him. I think he was top 12 for me.
It's actually pretty crazy. We don't have one Rayo player, and they're in the top 6 of La Liga.
That is
I wonder if that's going to change by the end of the season.
Yeah. We'll see.
I tried, man. I tried. I thought about the goalkeeper, but I don't know. I think this system's been great as a team. Same with Mallorca. I mean, I can't put Johan Mojica top 20, even though he's the standout on a top table team. But
He's literally always running. He's always running.
It's like Rayo with like Bournemouth in the Premier League. Would you put any Bournemouth player in the top 20 of this season? Maybe Kluivert.
Really
That's
tough.
it.
Only
Wait,
because he's
yeah,
had like the form of his life, right? He's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
banged
exactly.
in so many crazy
Couple
goals.
hat tricks.
Yeah.
Bournemouth and Rayo are just solid teams, and they're exceeding expectations. But there's not a standout player for them.
That's a fair way to
no,
put
there's
it.
no carry
Fair way
job
to
at
put it.
all on Rayo.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair shout.
All right, guys. Well, this was a beast of an episode. Here is your official Lengua de la Liga top 20 MVPs of the season. We are going to do our best to do a finalized version of this for La Liga only when the season ends. So hit subscribe for that. And of course, you do not miss the regularly scheduled La Liga coverage. We should be back to that next week, recapping all of the games. Let us know, looking at our list, what was our best, most 4,000 ball IQ ranking, and where did we absolutely fumble? Really curious to see what you guys think down below in the comments, and we hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we appreciate you watching to the end. Before you click off, make sure you drop the video a like, follow my co-host on social media. Everything is in the description of this video. We appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next one.